Hello, everybody. Giant Skyhawk here. I kind of last minute entered a remote duel regional. I was going to play on Chain Fluffle, but I got 5th. I lost the first round to an FCK deck, and then I was like, I guess I'll keep playing, and I won 6 in a row. So this is my side deck remote duel regional top 8 Dinosaur deck list. Every single time I think I'm going to play something else, I'm like, nah, I'm going to play Dino. And it works out. Funny how that goes. So I guess I'll show the list. This is essentially just Reversal's list. I will make sure that I link Reversal in the description. He is making the best educational content for Dino right now. He's got lots of deck profiles, different builds, and he's got some combos. So if you want to learn how to play Dino post-ground Xeno, if you're on like a blind second variant, or if you want to figure out about the go first ones, Reversal is the place to watch. This is just going to be like a tournament report. So we've got 3, and my camera quality is terrible. I tried to make the lighting better. There was no way to do it. So we've got 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. I don't know what you want me to say about this. It's Oviraptor. We got 1 copy of Misk, a Konami. My event result did not happen. You didn't see it? Please put Misk to 2. 1 Giant Rex. I think you have to play this now. Especially if Droll is in the format, you have to be playing Giant Rex, you can't cut it. There's a lot of combos with Lost World, and a lot of other just like OV Misk combos where if you get Drolled, you want to make sure that you have access to Giant Rex, or if you just want to play around Droll. It comes up occasionally against Runic because they'll banish it and then you get a free body, which is funny. 2 Archosaur. You don't need 3. You don't need 2. I like the hexagon pattern. I actually think the secret looks better, but you know. 3 Baby and 1 Petit. There's probably an argument to play a second Petit, but it didn't really come up. The only reason I think I would play a second Petit is if Runic gets more popular. Kashtira's kind of fallen off a bit, but if Runic gets more popular, then I would play the second Petit, just because there are some combos where you need to have this. But otherwise, 4 Babies was totally fine. And then we've got the Pankratops. This is the last CR that I am missing. If anybody has one for a reasonable price, hit me up. This guy was good. I summoned it once, but just being able to get it from deck is nice. 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Still an absolute house, and in a format where Pearly wants to Xyz summon, there's just tons of decks that don't have a good answer to, I cleared your board, here's the big guy. Or, it turns out, in a format where Book of Eclipse and Book of Moon are pretty good, a big one on legs is also pretty solid. 2 of that. 1 Dogoran. This was the best card in the deck. Dogoran was crazy. Against Rescue Ace, I tributed off a Terahertz and turned off the Disablements Graveyard and then Lightning Stormed their life savings. It was really good all day. Honestly, I want to cut another card in here to play a second one, or maybe play a Slumber Package, because I think the Kaijus are really strong right now. Especially in a wide meta, being able to just go, bop, is really nice. This won me way too many games today. I would not have topped without Dogoran in the list. 1 Xenometeorus and its target, 1 Fire Opalhead. This might be a bit funny for people who are playing Frostosaurus. The reason that you play Fire Opalhead is because Labyrinth is playing Gozen match. And so you want to have a way to play under Gozen. So if you activate Xeno effect and you get Gozened, if you summon another Fire, you can overlay into the Fire Lars, and then you can wait for a different activation to negate the Gozen match with the Lars. Or you can just Lars stall until you draw some back row removal, or you see like some other way to play. It also comes up with the Fire Opalhead too, sometimes. If you summon the Fire Opalhead and then clear the Meteoros, you can do like normal summon Misk and then link into Phoenix. That's happened before. Xeno was really crazy. I definitely think even Blind Second should be playing this. Honestly, having it in hand comes up a lot. There's a lot of game states where you search it with Oviraptor, and then if they clear your Ova, you go like Lightning Storm, and then you summon Xeno because a card got destroyed. Or if they negate the activation of something else, you just go Special Xeno Pop Baby, and then you keep going. Like, there are definitely times where I want to play more of this card, but I think playing more is a little bit too bricky. So 1 and 1 is fine. But technically, until something changes, Fire Opalhead is the optimal target to play, unless you're Reversal, and the optimal target is Frostosaurus, which has an ulti printing. So that's it for the monsters. 3 Fossil Dig. I'm very excited for this to come in the rarity collection, because we're gonna get more rarities of it. So the Dino collection can go up. Card is nuts. 3 Grand Xeno. This card is also crazy. It's just cool that Dino gets to have an extender now. You have to play 3. You can play the Fusion if you want. I'm not playing it, but like as the 15th slot, there's an argument to do so. If you do play the Fusion, I would play the 5th Petite, just so you have a higher chance to see more dinosaurs. 3 Lost World, this card is ridiculous. Helps you play Underdroll and Lockbird, stops a lot of targeting stuff. Against Rescue Ace, if you can stick this and give them a token, they can't do anything. Like, they just lose, they basically just lose on the spot. So, like, if the Rescue Ace player doesn't realize it, then Lost World is your win condition. 2 Double Evo Pill, you have to play 2, don't play 3, don't play 1. 2 is just right, Runic banishes him sometimes, play 2. 3 Pot of Prosperity. This card is probably getting limited or semi-limited, so I'm happy to play it. Because we only have 1 misc, we have to play Pot. Ground Xeno helped a lot with consistency, but this card is just really good. So, play Prosperity. Hopefully it gets a reprint in the Tins or the Rarity Collection. Then for the tech, Book of Eclipse. It's just good right now. Kashira and Pearly. It's pretty good into a lot of other stuff too. You can force like some Rescue Ace activations early. I won a game against Tearlament with this. Just book all their stuff and turn them off of the Celiac. And you can do lots of other stuff with it. It was good against Monadium. It was good against a bunch of other stuff. It's just a solid card. There are some matchups where it's bad, but I think you have to be maining either Book or Eclipse. Oh god, my camera. It's slipping. There we go. That's good enough. So with Book of Eclipse, the reason that I played this over Book of Moon is because Dinosaur really cannot afford to be Ash Blossomed going second. You want to see like your combo and a bunch of haymakers. So playing Book of Eclipse, if they have Ash, even if you're not like messing up their board, they used Ash. And that's honestly more important than resolving Eclipse. So that's why you play Eclipse over Book. Then I've got 2 Triple Tactics Thrust. You could play 3. I think there's a pretty good argument. I thought it was fine at 2. I've tried both, and I think it can be a bit cloggy, and this is a deck that really needs to be able to use all the cards in its hand, so I think 2 is fine. It means you're playing 3 copies of anything that you want, really, so I don't mind it. 2 Lightning Storm. You could play 1, but at a regional in a wide format, having just mass removal in the main deck, especially for a blind second deck, is good. This card just eats the Monadium counter trap for breakfast. 1 Triple Tactics talent, it's a thrust target. I honestly think I would cut this for a second Dogoran. I feel like anytime that Tactics comes up in Dinosaur specifically, it's not worth it. It's pretty rare that you can draw an extender. You're pretty much only using it for the take effect for NXEs. So if you're expecting a lot of cash at your regionals or locals, I would play this. But if you're not expecting it to be super prevalent, or you're maybe expecting to play 1, I would maybe just cut it and play a second Dogoran instead. 1 Dark Hole. Dino Dinguses will know that this is legit. It's a thrust target and it's a combo piece. Like Dark Hole Baby often comes up. So like say you get hand trapped into Oblivion, you just go normal Baby, activate Dark Hole, and sometimes that's enough to combo. So 1 Dark Hole, I would definitely play this again. I've got the Platinum Rare. It's a funny rarity. And then just 1 hand trap, 3 Imperm. I was debating on Ash or Imperm over the main deck. Whoa! Well, RIP my camera, I guess. 3 Imperm. I was debating between Imperm Ash in the main, and I think Imperm was the pick. Imperm Turbulence is really good, and I think it was really nice to just not play into Thrust and Tactics all day. Like, I had no monster hand traps, it wasn't anything I'm activating, and as a blind second deck, somebody activating triple tack on you is actually like a huge problem, because you you need your combo pieces. So I think Imperm in the main was good, and then Ash came in for matchups where I wasn't likely to run into Tactics. So 43 card main deck. If you wanted to slim it down, honestly, you could cut the triple tack and a Lightning Storm and play it at 41. I think that might be good. I just liked having... I would probably cut the Tactics for a Dogoran, but I liked having a higher ratio, like a higher likelihood of opening 2 board breakers. Yeah, I just like not playing into Tactics or Thrust all day. It was really good. So extra deck. We'll go backwards, I guess. 1 Baron de Fleur. You don't really need to play another Synchro. You could play Cheng-Ying in the 15th slot for just like a thing after Xeno. But honestly, you can do a lot of really neat combos to protect with the Baron and still like keep your ceiling up as a Dino pilot. So I would definitely play Baron. If you don't have access to it, you can definitely just play Cheng-Ying. Or Dispatter, frankly. But it's a little bit harder to make Dispatter. You have to do some weird stuff. 1 Dolka, 1 Logia, 1 Lars. Shoutouts for the QCR. It's not going to show up well on this camera, but it's very pretty. These cards were nuts. They're stupid. Lars is insane. Lars raises your ceiling so much if you're forced to go first. and it's such a great, like, I can't break the board. You have to deal with 2 Omnis that it's like untargetable by monster effects. Just really, really strong. Dolko was also crazy all day. Not a lot of Super Poly right now, so you can get away with these boards. If more people start playing Super Poly, we might have to adjust. Then for the other rank 4s, we've got 1 Dugar's the Timeless. This comes up for lethal with UCT. You double its attack to 7,000. And also with Pentastag as well. 1 Baguska. I audibled into this last minute because I'm also playing Zeus, and I added the tactics back into the main deck. I was worried about Kashtira. And I think one of the best counterplays to Labyrinth that we have is if we can establish Baguska in attack and then just swing and then go Zeus. It's tough for them to deal with that, assuming that you get to it. And I also think Baguska is just a good backup plan for Shifter if you don't open anything else. You just go over after, banish the Giant Rex from deck, special it, and then you go Baguska. And that's just a decent win con on its own. So that is it for the Xyz monsters. And then for the links, we've got Link Rebo and Secure Gardener. This is good for a lot of combos. If you play Dino, you know. 1 Pentastag. If you don't know, any linked monster does piercing damage. So you go Pentastag, you put an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno under it, and it attacks everything for piercing. One thing to note, if you didn't realize, is that under Lost World, if you give your opponent the token, make sure that it's pointing to Pentastag, because often you can do Dugara's Pentastag. Dugara's double the UCT and then link it off into the Pentastag, so you have a 7,000 attack piercer. You attack into the token, you protect the token with Lost World, that's 7k. Pentastag is also a linked monster you control, so you attack for the remaining 1100 and it pierces over the token, and that way you never have to give up the targeting protection in situations where you can't, like, make a rank 4 for lethal when you're going second. So, just a quick little interaction for you. And then 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn. They're just good cards, as is 1 Access Code. If you're in the Dino Discord and you've been watching Reversal's channel, you know what these 2 cards are. But if not, we play G-Golem Stubborn Menhir and G-Golem Crystal Heart. The reason that you do this is because going second is a really easy way to do Access Code if you're in an awkward situation like OV Baby Rex and you don't want to use stuff. Stubborn Menhir also does a pretty good impression of Elf, where you can go like Menhir add an Earth back from the graveyard after you summon it back. So you just go like, really the idea, you go like, essentially you just go like Link Rebo Pentastag, or you go Link Rebo G-Golem, and then you go Link Rebo G-Golem into Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart bring back Menhir, Menhir add back a baby or a Petit, or special summon back a Giant Rex. And then you just link these into Access Code. Alternatively, instead of the Baguska, you can play Apollosa here, and then you add a 2-material Apollosa to your board, but I felt like raising the ceiling in that way was less necessary than having counterplay to Shifter. So, yeah, there's like a couple flex spots. I think you could cut the G-Golems, you could cut the Zeus, and you could cut the Baguska. I think the rest of this, and then, like, you could debatably cut these cards. I think you could argue for Cerberus. I think these 4 are probably the flex slots. But I think you have to play everything else. So that's the ED, and then for the side deck, 3 Ash and 3 Droll. The main deck is not very hand drop heavy, it's Imperm, so I wanted to make sure I had at least 9. So 3 Ash, 3 Droll. Ash doubles as being good against Labyrinth and Branded, and Droll is just to respect the like nonsense Synchron combo BS. I think you have to respect it, even if you think you're not going to play against it very much, because Calamity is dumb. Then we've got Cosmic Cyclone. It's just the back row removal of choice. We need to have quick play removal for Anti-Spell, and this is better than something like Twin would be. So, Cosmic. 3 Anti-Spell. If they force us to go first, we side it in. Very frequently, after seeing game 1, especially if I win game 1, my opponents will make me go first because they assume I'll stick on blind second. And I usually side these into counterplay, unless I think they're really good. And you do the mind games, but if I think that they'll make me go first, I side these in. Or if I just like decide to go first, I'll side these in as well. And then it's nice to like trade the board breakers for the hand traps when you're doing that. And then I also played 3 Contact C. In theory, this is an FTK against Pearly until they figure out to play literally anything in their extra deck that beats it. And it's also pretty decent against Kashtira because they have to waste a lot of resources to get rid of it if they're not playing Donner. And even if they are playing Donner, it means that they have to like extend more of their hand into it. I never played Pearly or Kashtira, so I sided it in against DDD. I didn't draw it. Yeah, so that's the that's the deck list. I was really happy with it. I'm a huge fan of Dinosaur, always have been, and This is actually my first regional top. All of my other event results have not really been regionals. It's been like remote duel extravaganza stuff or invites, so this is cool. Matchups, round 1, I lost 0-2 to Megalith FTK. I hope that dude posts the list because it was crazy. I did not activate a card. I made the mistake of going second game 2, thinking they would side out the FTK, and I got Brain Research Labbed into oblivion. Round 2, I beat DDD 2-0. Not too much to say. I Dogorand my way out of that game. You get Dogorand Lightning Storm combo is a pathway to unimaginable victories. Round 3 was against Monadium. I won that 2-0. Game 1, they ended on Dispowder, Baron, Cross-Shape Vsauce reframing. I think maybe there was like a line that got a little messed up. But I just went Dark Hole Lightning Storm to bait the interactions, and then I had OV Misk, so I just played from there. Round 4, I was 2-0 versus Tearlament. Game 1, they activated Beatrice a little bit too early, and I was able to Kaiju the Redoer and then Book of Eclipse their whole board to turn off the Celiac, and then I just OTK'd them with UCT and Pentastag. And then game 2, they made me go first, but I ended on Lars. They had Havnis Tier Cash, but they missed all of their mills, so I won that game. And then round 5 was against... oh god, what was round 5 against? I can't remember what I played against round 5. Salomon Great. Quick 2-0. I impermed Salomon Great of Fire, and their hand wasn't great. And their set cards were bluffs, so I just OTK'd them. And then game 2, they ended on set 2, one of them being Rage and one of them being Roar. And then the Link 4 and a Jack Jaguar and some draws off Desires. I Dogo-rammed the Link 4, turning off the both of the back row. And then I Lightning Stormed them away, and then I had Fossil Dig Baby for game. Round 6, I was against Rescue Ace. It was 2-1. Game 1, they ended on Terahertz set 5 with, I think, Intruder in hand. And so I drew Dogoran. I keep drawing my one of Dogoran. I Kaiju the Dogoran over the Terahertz to turn off the Disablement Grave. They activate Intruder. They use like a spell to summon like a bunch of guys, and they end up with a Preventer. I activate Lightning Storm to clear the rest of their back row, and then I OTK them. Game 2, I couldn't break the board. I ended up in a situation where I could beat over a couple of monsters, but they ended up with too much advantage, and I couldn't take it. Game 3, we were getting close to time, so my opponent used a bunch of monsters to get into Gigantic Sprite to try to summon Red Resonator, but they used their whole hand to do it, and I had Ash, and then I had just enough time to get in for some damage before time ran out. And then round 7 was against Fur Higher Runic Sprite. Round 1, my opponent opened the nuts. It was an unbelievable board. It was Folgo, Rafal, IP, Donner, Fountain with like 6 cards in hand, and Red Carrot. And I just couldn't break it. I think it was a pretty valiant effort, but it didn't work out for me. And then game 2, I went first. I chose to go first. I sided his stuff in. I didn't draw my Anti-Spell Fragrance, but I did end on Lars Dolka Baron, and I'll show you guys how to do that line later. Lars Dolka Baron was good. That was good enough to win. They couldn't break it. Game 3, my opponent went first, and they had some Runic setup and some Furhouse stuff, but they didn't have enough Runic spells to really get a lot of advantage out of it. So they ended on Rafal, Folgo, Dompa, Fountain, and I think either a set card or a couple of Runic spells in hand. They had Droll and Lockbird, but I was able to play under it with Xeno Meteoros popping stuff. I did some combos. My opponent misplayed and used a Destruction on my Xeno Meteoros, but I brought too late, but I brought back an Overraptor to pop a baby and summon it back. So I then ended on Lars Lagia, and they couldn't break through it, and then I top decked Overraptor for turn, and that was 6-1. So I didn't play Cash or Pearly all day, so take this result with a grain of salt. Konami, please do not hit Misk. Yeah, I guess I can go over a couple of combos here. Some stuff that might be important. So Reversal also goes over these, so if you want some other combos, go watch, but I'm just going to show off some of the more important lines that maybe some other Dino players wouldn't have set up. So Xeno Baby, you can set up a Baron pretty early and still keep your stuff solid if you don't think that you're going to need Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So if you activate Xeno Effect Destroy Baby, you add your You add Xeno, one baby to Xeno. You special summon Xeno, and then special summon Overafter. Overafter effect, you're going to add Misk, but we're not going to add the Misk effect. We're not going to activate the Misk effect, rather. You're going to normal summon it, and then you're going to turn Xeno and Misk into the Baron de Fleur. Then you go Misk. You're going to banish not Xeno, special baby, and Misk here. And we will go get our seals. I'm looking through the whole deck as if they're not just at the top like I moved them there. Special baby. You're going to go Overafter, pop the baby, special summon back the Xeno, and then you go baby effect to special summon baby. And then you go Xeno effect, pop the baby. You go get yourselves a... They're all up front. You get a Fire Opalhead here, and a Giant Rex. And then this is your Lars, and either your Lagia or your Dolka, depending on what matchup you want. You can also play Dweller if you think it's going to come up. It could have come up against Tyr today, but I don't think it was super necessary. If the meta shifts post-ban list, Dweller definitely is a consideration. You can make Dweller under Xenometeoros because it's a Sea Serpent. So you can end on, like, Lars Dweller Baron, and that board is just silly. You can always trade one of these out for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno if you want to use the Misk effect from hand, and then you don't want to synchro off. You definitely have that option. But I like that way. A Reversal described it in his video because it's just like protection under Baron, you keep your Misk. I think it plays under a lot. I guess the last thing I'll go over is the Droll stuff. So... Lars just vastly improves this deck under Droll and Lockbird. So say you open Lost World and Fossil Dig. You can go activate Lost World, Fossil Dig, add Overafter. And then your opponent activates Droll. You go, okay, normal Overafter, give your opponent a Lost World token. I got some of those under the Chalice Slime Field Center. And then you're going to send Misk to grave. So you go send Misk. You go Overafter effect to target the token, and then you destroy your Petit Pteranodon from deck. That's what I mentioned earlier with Petit's necessary for some lines. Petit here summons Xenometeoros. And then you go Misk effect to banish 2. To special summon a baby. Xeno pop the baby. Special summoning Giant Rex and Fire Opalhead. And this is rank 4 Lars under Droll with just Ovi Lost World. And that's crazy. Like, we've never had that before. It's been a really long time. There's a couple of other Droll lines, but if you want those, you can go watch Reversal. Reversal also has combos about how to do Ash. I just felt like these were the two probably most important lines to show the Dino Dinguses. So yeah, that's Dino. Message me, subscribe to Reversal, subscribe to me if you want to see more, subscribe to the Top Cut podcast if you want to hear me talk more about the regional, or just talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. We host that over on the Top Cut podcast channel. I'll link those in the description. And join the Necrofusion enthusiasts in the Dino Discord. Necrofusion enthusiasts is where I do all the fluffle cooking with the crazy minds of the Necrofusion enthusiasts. And the Dino Discord is where you can get more info on how to play Dinosaur in the upcoming format. So, thank you all very much. And Konami, please ignore that I did this. Please give us 2.